Hello? How did you get this number? Don't you know he's listening? The 13. He's here.
You have entered the 13, a place where real stories about music, touring, and the beyond are told. Music does something to us. We all experience it in our own way. It can affect our senses, transport us through time, and release emotions. On this podcast, we will talk with people about the power of music and the beyond. What does the beyond mean? Let's find out together. Turn on your metronomes because this time is about to be tracked.
All right, what's going on, everybody? This is the 13, and today we're joined by my good friend Al Shire of Razor 13, The Henchmen, any other thousands of bands you could think of. Al, welcome to the show.
Ryan, what is going on? I had to ascend from the depths and
You have ascended.
this, and I'm going to turn it over to the bearded fucker.
Oh, okay, yeah, dude, I like him. I like you too, but this bearded fucker seems to be
How's
more
it going?
Normal. Good, man. How are you?
And just dealing with this guy down here.
I understand. Al, for all the people at home who don't know you, share a little bit about yourself. What do you do? Everything. I know you do everything.
Father, writer, husband, musician, traveler, jack of all trades, up to no good.
Nice.
Making it work, making it happen, and trying to hustle all the way in between. You know.
Oh, yeah. So you started this thing called 180 Seconds with Al Shire. Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay. So I did not start that. I was approached by two friends of mine. These buddies of mine, Boudreaux Partita and John Jew, real name.
Oh yeah. I remember I watched you guys on a podcast, and you were talking. You're like, that's his real name.
Cobra Cast podcast with Bobby Sharon.
Yeah, that's right.
And Boudreaux Partita is a producer in town at News Network, and he runs Penny Rock Productions, and they shoot a lot of videos for bands. And they recently shot a live video at Come and Take It Live for Dangerous Toys, which I was there. It was incredible. Cool. And so a few weeks before that, I was up north talking to them about doing a video for that song Road to the Well that I recorded.
Right.
And
which is a great song, by the way.
Thank you. And next day, I get a phone call from John, and he goes, and what's funny is when I was having the conversation with them in person, I was a little intoxicated. And
I know, I watched it.
And so my
are you talking about on the
Boudreaux,
podcast or on the podcast?
Oh no. Not the podcast. See, this is how often it happens. I met them at a bar up north.
Oh, okay.
I can't think of what it's called, and I'll think of it in a little bit.
Right.
And so I meet them up there, and I was pretty tipsy, not out of control, and I'm still thinking about the name of that darn bar, and so I'm going to stutter a little bit, and and so the next day when John called me, so my point is Boudreaux's been sober almost 4 years, and amazing producer, and he's had his own bouts in the past with booze, and John calls me and says, "Hey, so Boudreaux thinks you're the man to do this project that he's been sitting on for about 6 months to a year." And I'm like, "Okay, what is it?" And he's like, "Oh, it's a 3-minute interview, like bang, bang, bang. The way he's going to edit it, it's, it's there's no fucking around. It's going to be like straight into the point."
Right.
And he goes, he thinks you're the man to do 180 Seconds with Al Shire. And I went, "What? Who, me?" And it floored me because both my parents were journalists when they were alive. My mom interviewed Liberace and
oh wow, yeah, you told me that before. That's cool, man. That's super cool.
And my mom had her own news interview show on Channel 2 back in oh God, 1972, about 5 years before I was
Channel
born.
2 in H-Town.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? KRPC or something? What is that?
KPRC.
KPRC. See, I live
I
here,
think
and I
I'm
still
pretty
live
sure,
here, but I don't watch
And
TV.
yeah, that was right off the Southwest Freeway. That was right by Sharpstown, down by Bissonnet and 59.
Hell yeah.
So it floored me, and I was thinking, wow, this is rad. These guys, they believe in this. And so we shot the first 2 episodes. Episode 2 just aired yesterday. The first one was with a horror rock band called the Immortals, and we shot the first 2 episodes in the same day. It was back in March, I think. I'm really bad with dates. I think it was March 13th, but
13. That's a good number.
I know, perfect.
Here,
and I see it
here
right,
at the
right
13th
behind
podcast. Yeah, as you
And
can tell.
the 13.
The 13. Is that what we're calling it? The 13. We're figuring this out as we go along, people.
And so, yeah, and we shot the Immortals first, and we shot this up at Hanover's in Pflugerville, and then we shot Tarantula Mountain.
Yeah,
And
I saw them yesterday. That came out yesterday on the 29th. And I wanted
band.
I wanted to do this podcast before then, sorry, so we could promote it.
Isn't it crazy to see like a husband and wife take, like in a good way, take a band so seriously?
No, absolutely. It was really cool to watch them.
You really don't see that much.
I loved when you were talking to them and like the guy was like, did I write this one and the lyrics too? Oh yeah, I wrote the lyrics too. Like he had to question because they're so close. Like he had to actually think about it. That's cool.
Right. It's dude, and I wanted to hit on that, but I didn't. That's kind of digging deep. Like, what's it like being a married couple in a band together?
Right.
I mean, writing wise, and I mean, I've known enough bands in my time. I've known half a dozen bands where they're all brothers or brothers and sisters.
Absolutely, yeah.
And man, they fight.
Oh, sure, I'm sure.
Like worse than like normal bands get in arguments.
Oh, sure.
Like I've heard horror stories. I'm not going to say bands' names. But yeah, no. Yeah. Especially 2 bands in particular where all the guys in the bands are brothers.
Oh, wow. Everybody. Wait a minute.
All
right. All right. Anyway, we won't talk about it.
I'm just saying that's just got to be so fucking intense,
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Well, my wife was in a Christian praise band called Spoken For when she was growing up.
Yeah, but I don't see them cussing each other out or taking the Lord's name in vain very often.
Yeah, but it was all girls. Can you imagine?
Oh, no.
I mean, maybe no cuss words, but like ripping each other's hair out. I don't know. They've never said that they fought like that. They probably didn't. But in my brain, I can just only imagine. Oh, that's another Christian song. I can only imagine.
Imagine a Christian band fighting. You are forsaken.
You're done.
Forsaken.
Like the Amish, they banish people if you do things wrong, kind of like the Baptists.
Really?
That's a joke. It's a joke. And then he shows up. Hi, man. How you been?
Like, get down there.
Get behind me, Satan.
Little D's going to be a reoccurring character.
Absolutely. All right.
But yeah, the show's awesome. And those dudes have, God, a whole workload lined up for me, which is great.
Yeah.
They handle it. They handle it all.
When's the next time you guys are going to record one?
Whenever they call me to duty.
Okay, cool. Oh, that's great. Hey, Al, we got some people we want you to interview.
Oh, they've got a whole 6 to 8 months worth of bands lined up.
Wow. Okay, so you just have to get them.
John does all the booking.
Okay, cool. That's awesome.
Oh, it's so weird being, because I mean, as long as we've known each other, I'm very hands-on.
Absolutely. We've known each other since 2009. 2010?
Yeah, 2009, yeah.
Album released in
Yeah.
2009. Hey, for everybody who doesn't know, again, Al and me are in a band called Razor 13. We haven't performed in a long time, but we toured
We
together
will.
a whole bunch. We've also been guitar and bass techs for a band called King's X, and we toured the world together. And there's a lot of stuff in there, and we'll dive into that later. But anyway, Al, what else you got going on besides 180 seconds?
I still got the cervix industry in the works. I've got Matt Thompson from King Diamond's drummers drum track.
Oh,
And
yeah.
oh yeah. Oh, he it's gonna be awesome. I've got a whole bunch of musicians in the works to be on it, but we are in the production stage of this, and it's just like a slow build, you know.
Oh, it's great.
Everybody's doing their own recording. Matt did his own recording at his home studio in Denton, and then he sent that back to me, and I've sent it to the other musicians to write their stuff. I don't want to say who yet, because it's going to be pretty cool.
Isn't it cool? Isn't this cool that we can all do this? I'm doing this from my house. You're doing this from your house. You can get musicians from their house to do it. I mean, it's been happening for years, but it's become so accessible now that my dumbass can do this here. You know, like you and I have an internet thing, that band sort of thing that we mess around with, and like just being able to send tracks back and forth is freaking amazing. We live in a golden age of grotesque. Oh, sorry, Marilyn Manson.
It's the best, and we don't even have to leave the fucking house.
I know. I hate people. I get to stay here all day.
Oh yeah. When you're home.
Well, yeah, when I'm home and I'm not traveling for work. So everybody who likes the 13 podcast, please like, share, subscribe, whatever, so I don't have to go back to work. Thanks.
And aside from that, Nate and I are still doing Greedy Parker and getting that going. And slowly but surely.
I love Greedy Parker. Everything I've heard out of you guys has been awesome. Like
it's been a good therapeutic thing.
Dude, when it came out, like, and you guys did that first video or whatever, I was like, this is my friend. Like, this is super cool. I remember I was in the living room right over here, and I was like, there's no fucking way that's Al. Like, it was super cool.
With me and Nate and his brother in the black ski masks. And,
yeah, right.
Yeah, but we're slowly but surely working on stuff. The beautiful thing is like not being in a hurry,
Yeah, absolutely.
Got no one telling you when to do it and when to be done, and I love it.
Yeah, that's what I like about our internet band thing, that I am the one ruining that, by the way. Like, I keep not recording bass tracks, or let me rephrase that. I keep recording them and I keep going, no.
You'll get there. It'll get there.
I mean, the bass is sitting right. Oh my gosh, it's unlocked. The bass is sitting right here.
Yeah, there. Oh, she is.
But anyway, okay, so cool, man. So that's what you got going on. Let's get into the King's X Razor 13 stuff.
All right.
Let's get into the nitty gritty, some of the funnest times of our lives. I want to talk about how I first met you and how I first saw you. Big Mike said, we need a live guitar player. We need one. And there was this other dude, Scotty Mac, who I've still never met. I've talked to on the internet, but Scotty, if you're watching this, I don't know if you actually exist. That's a different story though. But like, anyway, he was going to do it and fly in. Apparently he had learned all the songs and was just going to fly in and play as the second guitar player. 4 or 5 days before the show. How many days was it when we came and asked you?
Okay. So we met at the first rehearsal, right?
No, I met you on 6th Street.
That's right. You were with J-Rab.
I was with J-Rab and Big Mike, and they were yelling your name, and you turned around. I was like, is that Braxton? Because you had the beard and tattoos.
So when I was working at the Key Bar with Michael, it was always the big shit, like, Big Bald's band with Doug Pinnick from King's X.
Right.
And we were working together on a Friday and a Saturday night down there, and he was like really sweating about that dude. And he was like, "Man, Shire, I don't think he's coming." And I'm like, well, your CD release is in a week. What are you gonna do? And I was trying to be a supportive friend, coworker.
Right. Yeah.
He's just like, "Oh man, I don't know, bro. I don't know." And so that's Friday and Saturday, and I could tell he was really sweating bullets. And
I was living. I wasn't living with him, but when I was in Austin, I just stayed at his apartment. So yeah, I remember.
I'm at home on a Sunday night, and I'm in the garage doing my thing,
right?
And it was one of those weird things, dude. And my cell phone rang, and it said "Big Bald Mike," and I knew what the fuck he was going to ask me. Yeah. I knew it. It was weird, dude. It's not a premonition because that happens way before the fact. But when that phone rang and I saw his name, I knew what the fuck was about to go down.
Dude, there's things in the universe. There's things in the universe that like you just, there's like I was talking to you the other day on the phone about vibrations. There's some weird stuff where you just kind of know it's weird. Expanded reality.
And he was like, "Can you learn these songs? We've got 5 days till this CD release show." It was on a Friday night, I think.
Okay.
And so I learned the songs. I mean, I started that night. That was Sunday night. I started learning the songs that night. 2 steps down from what I'm used to tuning to in E standard.
Yeah. And, was it C? Was it C?
C.
And
C and drop C, which is D, with the low drop to C.
Yep, that's right.
So
I play on the bass.
But only 2 of the songs were in.
On the bass.
Most of the songs are in C.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So like 8 of the songs on guitar are in a C tuning, and I actually still have. It's so funny, and I can't show it, but I'll send you a photo of it.
Okay.
I have the Razor 13 tuning.
Cool.
I typed it out
before
we played, and I used the strongest clear masking tape.
Oh, cool.
And it is still on the top of my road case. To where when I had to walk over there, I go, oh yeah, that's what it's perfect. But yeah, no, we learned those songs. Doug came in on Thursday. I mean, like I think we started. God damn, it was like we were in there the next day. I learned like 7 or 8 songs the first night on Sunday. I came in the next day on Monday, and we did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Doug came in on Thursday. We ran through the set 2 times with him. He had never rehearsed with y'all either.
Right.
And then we played the show on Friday.
Yeah, that was okay. Look, as far as I don't know how professionals do it, but like we were getting paid, so I guess that means we're professionals, right? But like I couldn't believe that this album that Mike, essentially just Mike, created. I mean, the band, we all helped out or whatever, but I mean, Big Mike's the guy behind
with Doc's lyrics.
With Doc's lyrics, absolutely, 100%. But like I couldn't believe that this thing we've been working on forever with multiple singers over the years had finally come together, and we were going to rehearse in like 3 or 4 days and then give this to the world, and we did it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that bad. Like that was, I mean, that's crazy to me. And I mean, coming from a guy who had been in 13 bands, Razor 13 being the 13th band, that actually is just literally a coincidence. We didn't name Razor 13 because it's my 13th band or anything, but I don't know. That was some awesome shit. You came together, you got everything pretty much together. You'd stay after practice, like you were asking the teacher after school, like, "Hey, I don't really know this math problem. Can you help a little bit?" And then Mike would show you.
I was also sober off alcohol back
then. Yeah, you knocked this shit out. I mean, it was crazy to me. And then your sound with the Mesa Boogie, the triple rectum fire. I mean, what is it called?
Rectum fire. Yeah, the rectum fire.
That and your Gibson Les Paul. the tone completely changed for the better, in my opinion, for our live.
I was running no effects. I was only going through a Boss tuner. That was it.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it was a
That's
great,
it.
there's a lot of great times we played a lot of great shows.
Yeah, we did.
Razor 13 was going to do a 10-year anniversary of our first record, and the pandemic happened, and so it has been postponed. But that doesn't mean that stuff might not happen in the future, but we don't know. We'll see. Let's move on to King's X.
Oh boy.
So I worked for King's X for a long time.
Long time.
Doug Pinnick, was also in Razor 13 as the lead singer, which you've heard us talking about, but obviously he's the lead singer of King's X. So I was his bass tech. Shire came in as Ty's guitar tech. How did that happen?
Doug. After the Razor 13 thing went down, he was like, Ty needs a guitar tech on this next run that we're doing with Accept. And I was like, okay. And so he gave my name.
Check.
Yeah, he gave my name to Gunter, and Gunter called me, and that's that
was that
and
easy?
It went down. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was fun. And then we went to Europe with them in 2011.
Yep.
That was fun.
That was fun. All the stories from 11 years ago are popping up. Do you remember my Facebook memories?
I mean, now. Dude, I was because we had pretty amazing hospitality on that US run, and that was also in 2010 with Accepting King's X. That was my first time to ever live on a tour bus.
Right.
Well, and the accommodations were good, and the hospitality backstage was good, but man, Europe, wow! The first show that they did in France, I've never seen so much food. That table, I have a photo of that on my Facebook, and you've got places where you've got albums. Yeah, I've got that European tour, and I've got a number of pictures on there. But I know one of the photos I have on there is that first show in France, where that table goes all the way to the corner and then cuts all the way down, and it's just nothing but cheese and cakes
and strawberries
and meats, and and like prosciutto and man, I had never
that table.
Candy.
That table is where I learned to love strawberries. I know that's a really weird thing, but that table, they had
that weird chocolate candy they had.
Yeah, they had these little tiny strawberries that were about this big. And what I know now, and I didn't know then, is the tiny ones are really tart. And I ate a tiny one, and I was like, holy fuck, why haven't I had strawberries before? I never liked them. And then I started, I found out couple of weeks later when I got back to the US that if you get the bigger ones, they're not as good. You got to get the small ones if you like the tartness.
Man, that was just so wild. That was just so crazy. I mean, I just, it's like you're walking into friggin' the Willy Wonka backstage area, so how much did they spend on that? And that's just one night.
When we were where were we in France? Was that the place where we got duck? Man, so I went to Europe twice, by the way, people with King's X. So I don't know if I'm mixing stuff
there was
up.
There was that. Okay, so we did 2 shows in France. The first one was right outside of Paris, and the other one.
Did Christian Nesmith show up to that? Did you meet him? He's a monkey.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's good friends with Doug. I love that guy to death. He's awesome. But I remember he came in the 2009. I just don't know if he came in 2011. Sorry, go ahead.
Toward the end of the tour, before we cut over and went to Luxembourg, they played that. It was called the MAI, the MAI School of Music.
Oh, dude, I have pictures of that. The place is awesome.
It's in Nancy. right?
I believe so.
I think I'm remembering this right. And the owners of that music school took us out to that restaurant. That was like a block.
That's where we got the duck. That's where we got the duck.
Excuse me. Oh, that was probably.
And there was a pond behind it, and there was ducks swimming in it, and we were like, "Is that where they got the duck from?"
I mean, dude, that was honestly. I really don't want to know what the owner of that music school spent on that dinner.
Yeah, it was expensive. I remember
that was like a $4,000 or $5,000 dinner.
It was beautiful. I mean,
because he fed the whole crew in the band.
Yeah, I got
everybody
duck or something.
Yeah,
I mean, sorry to my fellow friends in Cologne who also toured with us in Europe in 2011, or toured with King's X in 2011. They're from France, and they're going to be in Texas in May 10th, I believe.
I think so. I come and take it live.
I come and take it live in Austin, Texas. I wish they were playing Houston, but guess what? I guess I'm going to have to go to Austin. Anyway, besides that, yeah, dude, I had duck. Like, I didn't like it.
Was it good?
No. You know what those things eat? Same stuff chickens do, except in water.
See, I've never had duck. I've smelled it. It smells
awful.
It smells very gamey, and I am not a gamey meat guy.
Me neither. Yeah, I love venison, but I'm very particular. So like, I know it's not a duck, but venison to me, if it's white-tailed deer, doesn't taste gamey to me. But I had elk jerky or venison or whatever you want to call it, and it's the kind I had was super gamey, and it could have been the way it was processed or the way it was killed. I was going to say murdered. No, I guess that's true too. But either way, yeah, again, not a gamey fan.
Right.
So, okay, so we kind of jumped into the European tours, but I want to jump back into the American tours first, or not first. I want to jump into the American tours now and talk about Milwaukee and PD.
Oh Lord, PDX. Yeah, that was pretty. That was pretty epic. Pulling up to an abortion clinic, and one, we didn't know it was an abortion clinic, and Doug made the joke as we pulled up because there are all these people picketing, and he's like, "Man, what the fuck's up with this?"
We kind of thought like maybe they didn't want King's X to play or something, right? There's people out there, and then we noticed what it was.
Oh no, it's like Doug's like, "Oh, what's up with this shit? They picketing my ass or what?" It's so funny. And then, we realized that the building is adjacent to an abortion clinic, and that's what all these people are angry about. And Cracker made the joke that he was going to steal this bear off the parking sign, and fucking Mo was just like, "You are not bringing no abortion bear on this goddamn bus." He's like, I am Irish Catholic. This shit is not going down, man. Well, as Cracker would pull, bullshit. And he got that bear on the bus and gave it a cesarean. And it was when I think we were on our way was Middleton the next night. You remember walking into that club? Scats.
Oh, I'm trying to remember.
We came back in from the bus. It was that huge fucking sports bar in Middleton, Wisconsin.
Oh.
And and we walk in. And love to King's X, but man, those promoters at that fucking club in Middleton did not promote for shit. Yeah. I think they had something like 29 pre-sales. It was something completely. Yeah. And you and I walked in from getting something out of the bus, and we hear whoever the owners, managers, whatever the fuck they are at that club. They're yelling at each other about losing their ass,
Oh yeah, because they had to pay King's X whatever their
they had to pay both bands, and they were losing their fucking tails.
Somebody had to go into their personal bank account and pull out some money.
Oh yeah, and so we walk in, and Herman Frank is sitting there at a table all by himself. He's like, "Is your boys here, the men arguing the office?"
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot
man.
about that.
And we're like, yeah, man, it's not sounding too good in there about, money or whatever. He's like, don't know what to say about that. I go, well, it's funny, man. This club is called Scats, And
Yeah,
he's like,
right.
well,
With
what
the
what is
scats.
this? The Scats. It's like, those German Shizer movies y'all shoot over there. And he sits there and he's just like, and then he goes, so I guess tonight the bands we play in common Scats. And however, and I remember Cracker texting me and saying from the merch table, he's like, oh my God, from back here, it looks like a Dungeons and Dragons convention.
uh,
Oh, that was the funniest shit ever,
it was good.
I mean, hey, dude, every band, it doesn't matter how good, how big you are, you still have dumper shows, man.
Of course. Oh,
There's
dude.
still gonna be a shit night.
So our Razor 13 show in Fort Worth, when I had to call my buddy Brandon, Expanding Reality. That's the Expanding Reality guy. He came out and opened up with his acoustic guitar or whatever, just because
That was him.
That's him. And
Nice.
just
I
because we
remember
needed,
him.
yeah, just because we needed somebody to do something, and there was no one there, no one promoted us. We all still got. Well, I don't know about Brandon, but I got paid. I think I gave Brandon some money. He sold me a CD.
Well,
He gave me like 9 of them.
we got a check out of the manager, and we Doc and I got it cashed before the guy could stop payment on it.
Yeah, smart. That
I
place,
mean,
I can't believe that. I mean, it's not that I can't.
The
believe that
Aardvark, fuck
Yeah.
that place.
We were rolling into town, and you were on the phone. We were in the band van, and you were like, the guy's like trying to cancel it or whatever, and like, we're fucking here, dude.
Listen, that motherfucker sent me an email saying that the show is canceled, and we're halfway there. And I remembered from playing there before. I remember that there was a witch sandwich shop adjacent to that goddamn club. And I called it in the fucking van. And I was like, how's it going? Hey, I was like, hey, we got a question for you. Was the Aardvark open last night? Because the guy had told me that they had no power all day the day before.
Oh.
And she goes, oh yeah, there was a huge show there last night. There's probably 100 people there. I go, thank you very much.
Right.
So I caught the fucker in a lie, and we got there, and when it was time to get paid, I went and talked to the manager, and Mike knew right when to hit that boxing machine.
Oh yeah.
And he moved that thing 6 inches.
Yeah. Big Mike is no joke. That dude is strong as hell.
I know, man. Well, we got paid, and the owner sent me a very nasty email like late that night. And we got to the bank the next day and got it cashed. Fuck that guy.
Yeah. That was it's a crazy story, man.
But I think the only show that was probably worse than that was the show in Helotes outside of San Antonio.
That show
God
sucked.
damn. That was
you know
awful.
who showed up to that? Didn't
No.
Metal Mama show up to that? You know her?
With the red hair?
I don't know if she had red hair then.
Oh, the Hispanic lady from the Valley.
Yeah, from
I think
Kingsville or something like that. I think.
Yes.
Yeah, she came to that. She's dude. I love her. She's awesome. If she's watching this, Metal Mama, I love you. You're awesome. I ran into 2 of her friends. I was coming up from the Valley, and I decided I couldn't make the whole drive, so I stopped in her town, and I stopped at like I don't know, it was some hotel, but they had a bar. So I meandered my way down to the bar. And these 2 guys came down, and they were wearing Iron Maiden t-shirts because they had just seen Iron Maiden. And I was like, well, I think we're going to be friends. And we started talking, and that turned out that those 2 guys knew her, and it was cool. It's a small world. And I'm still friends with those. I'm friends with one of those guys on I'm friends with both of them on Facebook, but one of them passed away since. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's get down to brass tacks here, and let's move on to. I have a whole list of things, and I want to talk about slinging hash.
Rex Brown, man, he you know, that was the second to last night of tour with Accept. And Rex was pointing out our very nice Prevo, you know, and I said, "Oh yeah, man, you know our bus driver, you know, Mo." And he's like, "Fucking Mo Queen." Yeah, man. Text that motherfucker right now. He's like, at first he was like, "Call him."
Right.
Like, I really don't want to call him. He's at home with his wife and 2 kids after being on the road with us for 3.5 weeks.
Right. Yeah.
You text that son of a bitch and you tell him someone's been slinging hash, motherfucker.
Rex Brown is from Pantera, everyone who doesn't know.
And so I did. And of course, didn't get a response. And, you know, we're on the bus and, you know, bus call is at 2:30 and he walks up with his little sack lunch and scrotum lunch or whatever they want to call it. And he just looks at me, he's just like, "Hanging out with Rex Rocker, huh?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what?" And you know, and
what's up with the slinging hash?
I wasn't drinking then still.
Right.
You know, I was on a break from 2007 to 2011, you know. I went 4.5 years, didn't drink a drop.
Right.
Smoked a lot of grass though, but not a drop. And he went into this whole story about how Pantera would go out for 4 days and they would get back on a Sunday late, like usually Monday morning into the sunrise. And at 11, 12 o'clock, Rex is calling Mo going, "Get your fucking ass over here, motherfucker. Someone's been slinging hash." And he had the easiest way to break into Rex's house apparently was through his garage. And so he would put his 220-pound Rottweilers out there with 4 days worth of dog food and water. You can only imagine the huge piles of shit. I mean,
Jeez.
dude,
I mean, Rottweilers
that's
are not
fucked
a small
up,
dog.
you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, anyone apparently came through that garage, they were going to just get tore the fuck up, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
And so that was Rex's thing, man, was fucking get the fuck over here, motherfuckers. Someone's been slinging hash. And Mo was like, I had to get fucking the pressure washer and spraying fucking massive piles of shit out of that thing.
Dude, I've got 3 dogs, man. So I got hash all over the backyard. I can only imagine what it would be like inside a garage. Speaking of Mo, there's Mo and there's some Mo and Dimebag stories we heard. We heard from Mo. One of them was like Jägermeister or something, right?
King, you know, the guys in King's X were like going toe to toe about wild stories one night. And it was about 3/4 of the way through that tour. And I think Mo was having a little snack in the driver's seat. And he whips. He's like, oh, you think that's a wild? It's one of the few times he talked shit. And he was like, "Oh, you think that's a wild night? You sons of bitches, you haven't lived until you fucking woken up out of a dead goddamn sleep with a tube being shoved in your mouth, fucking dime bags dumping a bottle of Jägermeister in that motherfucker, and you wake up and you're like, and he just gets back in the driver's seat and shuts the curtain."
That's Dime, dude. I mean, I don't want to pretend that like I knew Dime.
Fireworks being shot out of Mo's asshole.
Yeah, that type of stuff.
Ass crack.
It just felt like when I met Dime only a handful of times, but like he had that energetic spirit that seemed like he was shy.
You will not sleep tonight.
Yeah, we're gonna write on
staying up all night.
Yeah, yes. and that would travel. I mean, dude, when I first met Dime, and you know, he can't get in trouble for this. I was 17 years old, and
penises will be drawn.
And when I met Dime at the Bronco Bowl in Dallas, Texas, I was just there to watch King's X, and I'm standing there, and Dimebag Daryl walks up next to me and comes up right next to me and puts his hands up. He's like, "Yeah," and he's wearing a King's X hat, and I was like, looked at my friend Sean, and I was like, "Dude, look, it's Dime." And then all of a sudden, Vinny walked up, and I was like, "Oh, it's Vinny," and like we hung out. Anyway, after we were hanging out, we were at the bar and Dime was like, okay, Doug, what do you want? And Doug wanted his raspberry kamikaze. And Dime was like, okay,
Yeah, he
raspberry kamikazes for everybody. And Doug was like, hey, Ryan's, 17 or whatever, or 18, or I was under the age of 21. And Dime like looked at Doug and looked at the bartender and he goes, they fucking know me here. Who cares? And they poured us all shots. Bronco Bowl's
good.
And I thought that was so cool. Then I met him again. Actually, I think that was the second time I met him. No, that was the first time I met him. The second time I met him was at the Astro Arena. I got backstage, and you know how you were talking about that thing of food?
Who was the opener on that show?
It was Morbid Angel. God damn it. What is not Sepultura? It's not Sepultura. Soulfly.
I was there.
Soulfly, Morbid Angel. You were at the same show in Houston at the Astro Arena?
Morbid Angel was first.
Yeah. And
because they did that shit at the end where they did like the drum thing, right?
That was the Reinventing the Steel tour for
now. I saw Sepultura open for Pantera when they put out Arise at the Astro Arena, and I think Prong opened.
Wow.
I think
that
memory doesn't serve too well, bud.
Yeah, I understand. So when that happened, anyway, when that show happened, after it was done, I got to go backstage and remember how we were talking about in France, how it had that huge table of all the stuff. Well, the same thing, something very similar was backstage for Pantera's after party. And I walk into this big room and there's 3 tables. One table is full of booze. I mean, stacked bottles of everything you could think of, just stacked. And then and then another table was filled with like finger foods. And then there was one table that just had Taco Bell full. And I'm Dime. He's over there holding court, telling people stuff, like just talking about the show. And he sees Doug walk in, because that's how I got backstage. And he sees Doug walk in, he stops, and he immediately comes to Doug and is like, because he fucking loved Doug, and Doug introduces him to me. I'd already met him before, but I mean, come on, rock star, not going to remember my ass. But he was like, okay, you, shots, let's go. And we went over to the Taco. He was like, you guys want Taco Bell? Started throwing burritos at us. I was like, this is my favorite band almost of all time. And I'm hanging out with my guitar hero is him and Zach Wilde.
Right.
I mean, still to this day. And I was like, holy fuck. Anyway, I love Pantera. I love Dimebag.
July the 4th, 2011. I end up out in Los Angeles, and Doug and I go out one afternoon to get some food, and he was like, hey, we're going to go to the House of Blues tonight. Hal Sparks' band is opening.
Fucking love Hal. That guy is an amazing human. He's
awesome. I hung out with him here in Austin at the Laugh Stops in Houston. Doesn't matter. It's the comedy club in North Austin. Okay. And so we go and watch 01, and they were opening for Steel Panther.
Yeah.
And I had never seen Steel Panther play before. I had heard of them at this point. I'd never really heard them. Maybe heard like one song. And so they come on stage, they're doing their thing. We're like maybe like 4 people back from the stage. And the guitar player and the singer do their little banter back and forth. And Michael and Satchel are like, hey, Satchel's like, hey, what's up, Mike? Are we going to get some fucking drugs tonight or what? He's like, I don't know, Satchel. Fucking, I don't know. The usual shit's just not doing it for me, man. Maybe we need to get some crack. He's like, I don't know, man. There's only 3 black dudes here in this whole white crowd. One of those guys is Doug Pinnick from King's X. Maybe he knows where to get some crack. And Doug looks at me. He's like, they're calling me out, motherfucker. What the fuck? And they're like, but maybe he'll come up here and sing Man in a Box from Alice in Chains with us. And I do the old, boost step in my hands. Like we get, up to the stage and he steps in my hands and he gets up there.
How cool.
And we go, awesome. So we go backstage after, the gig is over, and dude, none of those guys party. Like it's just all fun.
Right.
But we're in the hallway, and Doug, and this is a House of Blues, and he's got a vape pen, and so we're just like, trading off, and drunk. I mean, we're having fun.
Sure.
Man, drinks at that place. He got me in, so I got him wasted. That was I was like,
that's the good trade.
This is a good trade-off. And then plus I'm hanging out with Steel Panther and Hal Sparks after the show.
Yeah.
Backstage. And the bass player, Lexi Fox, who I'm assuming is not in the band anymore.
He's not in the band anymore, I don't think. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Something they never really they made a joke of an explanation, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's
so
how
he comes out and his hair is like as short as mine. And he comes out of his own dressing room, and Doug and I are in the hall getting high, and he just freezes. And he's like, "Oh my God." And he goes right back into the doorway of his dressing room. And he's like, baby, come on. And his girlfriend comes out, and he's like, baby, you've got to meet Doug Pinnick. This guy is the reason why I play bass guitar in the first place. And Doug is like,
so
"Oh,"
cool.
And I'm like, "Yeah." And it was
That's
just,
so cool.
Man. And all those, I mean, dude, like none of those guys party. They all had, like, there was one main backstage area for all of them. And at that point, Hal had his own area with his wife because their baby was real little,
Oh, wow,
and that was like right after I guess the kid was maybe about 6 months old.
Wow.
And
I haven't seen Hal since before they had their child. So man, it's been a while.
Yeah. But yeah, they had a whole fridge full of Steel Panther had a whole fridge full of whatever the fuck we wanted, and they're like, "Y'all go ahead, drink whatever you want." No, so we just, had a few sips here and there, and hung out and smoked a bunch of grass. And
that's so cool. I have a cool story about Hal Sparks. Actually, all of the stories we're telling are memories that we're going to keep forever, right? All of this touring, all of this stuff, everything we're talking about is stuff that's going to be in us and on us.
And can I interject?
Absolutely.
I never took one fucking photo. I hate that shit.
Oh man, you know what?
I can't be that guy.
You were in the moment,
dude,
and you didn't want to.
But people like that expect that shit. And I don't know, man. I just don't like that. I've never liked doing that shit. I mean, I've taken photos here. I had my wife take a photo of me with King Diamond. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, dude. Yeah, that photo of King Diamond is fucking epic. Thank you, Seb. Like that was like.
Oh no, Sherry. That was Sherry.
No, but didn't Seb get you backstage, or did you already?
Oh, Seb is the reason we were there.
Right.
Right. Oh yeah.
Seb's awesome. So everyone who's at,
thank you, Sebastian. I'm having his little espresso cup. No one touches Sebastian's espresso cup.
It was really nice. It was really nice.
He was the first one down at that coffee maker every morning.
Yep, absolutely. He
good
was,
dude,
okay,
man. Good dude.
So Seb was Jerry's drum tech on the 2011 run.
Yeah, the one that we immediately made the stage manager.
Yeah, dude.
He would like light the incense, and he would put on Pink.
Yeah. Oh,
and we would just let him do his own thing first. We would hang out while they would test the whatever side the damn smoke machine was on that night.
Right. Dude.
And we'd sword fight with our mag lights. Remember that?
Yeah. He was that guy is so professional. I mean, there's no wonder he's gone on to be with so many different bands. Does he live in Japan now? Or
he lives in Japan with his wife now.
Yeah. Oh, wow, they got married. Good.
There are two dudes that I know that are that good. Seb is one because he used to be the person that set up Go Here Is everything,
Right.
And then I've got a buddy that I know from Houston named Jeff Newman. We call him Rhino, and he's toured with all these huge big bands, but his first big band that he toured with was Less Than Jake, and he did the same thing. He set up everything. I mean, like if anything went wrong, he knew, like
Right.
He was the one tech for the whole band. And him and Seb need to meet one day.
Oh, dude, can you imagine if they were like, see, that's how you work for mega bands, is you get everybody that's in every position is like Seb, like
Right.
you just have this mega production. Oh man, I mean, they're just people like that are amazing, because they literally, they're not out there to party like I was. They're out there to, I mean, I was out there to learn because I wanted to be a musician, right? But I was out there to have fun too. And
oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, Sebastian's awesome. He got me and my wife tickets to that thing at the pavilion that King Diamond played, and it was super awesome. It was like in August though, and it was super hot, so we actually left because Don wasn't feeling that great. It got way too hot. We got overheat. We were just sitting in our seats sweating, Oh
yeah, no.
So we circle back to Hal Sparks, and then we're going to move on. Hal Sparks, one day I walk up to Doug's house. I do not know what year this is. I'm a younger cat. I'm probably 18 or something. I'm trying to quit smoking cigarettes. That was a thing I was struggling with. And no, you'll understand why I mentioned that here in a minute. I knock on Doug's door. This dude answers. I don't know who the fuck this guy is, but then he starts kind of looking familiar because this movie called Dude, Where's My Car had just come out. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, is Doug here? And he goes, yeah, he's taking a shower or something. I don't know. Doug was indisposed. And I'm like, well, hey, I'm Ryan. Like, I come over here all the time. He goes, all right, well, come on in. And I come in and I'm sitting there looking at him. He's like, my name's Hal. I'm like, hey, Hal, were you in Dude, Where's My Car? And he was like, yeah, thanks, man. Hey, thanks for noticing. He was super nice. And Doug was doing whatever he was doing for like an hour. So me and Hal Sparks sat there. We got into such deep conversation that I started talking about, it's like, yeah, I smoke cigarettes and I really want to quit. And I'm like, but it's super hard. And he was like, it's not hard. You're just scared.
Goddamn right.
I was like, what the fuck? Like,
that's awesome.
You just broke into my soul. Like, I didn't know, like, and I was like, what do you mean? He goes, just stop. You're afraid of how you're going to feel. Like, you're afraid you're going to miss it. You're afraid. It's like, that has nothing to do with quitting. Just quit.
Yeah.
And like, addiction's a little bit harder than all that. And I'm not putting shade on that. I'm not trying to say that I'm very aware, but when I quit smoking cigarettes for like a week, but I mean, that has stuck with me. And then I met him several times after, and he's always been super nice. One time he brought a bong. I think Danny G was on tour, and I don't know if Hal smokes or not. He probably does, but I never saw him, but he brought a bong. I think it was a bong or a pipe to the House of Blues show we played in 2009 or something, and presented it to Doug in LA. Anyway, Hal Sparks is the shit. All right, let's move on, because I got a list of things.
Okay.
Okay, so we did PD. Okay, let's jump back into some Razor 13 mess. We've talked about a few of these Razor 13 things, but I want to talk about the show at Spiro's.
Okay.
I have a good friend named Spiro, but that's a different story. Fuck you, Spiro. I love you. And anybody who watches my YouTube knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, the pepper guy.
The pepper guy. Fuck you, Spiro. I love you.
He's a tattoo artist, right?
Yeah, he works at man, I can't think of it right now. Artistic.
And he made your asshole burn.
Artistic Impressions in Katy, Texas. If y'all need a great tattoo.
He sent you those peppers.
He sent me a bunch of different peppers. I sent you some of the peppers he sent me, the lemon drop ones.
That's right.
Those lemon drops are super hot. You don't think they're going to be that hot. So I want to
grabbed you by the boo boo.
Oh, dude. So we played Razor 13 played a show at Spiro's. We kept getting delayed. We got delayed and delayed and delayed. We eventually went on at midnight, and Fishbone was playing next door.
Oh, yeah. The fro that came floating through the crowd.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe that.
Talk to me about that experience.
I am the biggest Rocky George fan, man.
Oh yeah,
from Suicidal Tendencies, the guitar player.
Right.
And for people that don't know what I'm talking about, he wears the Pittsburgh Pirates hat. like all the time and suicidal, or did. And yeah, Fishbone was playing that night, and I just remember like we were about 3/4 of the way through the set. It was probably about maybe like 12:50 or 1 o'clock in the morning, and I see this big afro floating through the crowd, and he walks right up to my ass and just does the boom, the bump, and I'm just like,
how cool is that?
Getting to bump one of your idols while you're playing a gig,
dude,
with Doug Pinnick, you know,
and you don't expect it. You don't know him.
No,
he just shows up and he's like, hell yeah, that is so cool. That was a cool night, even though we went on at midnight and I was wasted by the time we went on. My cousin William was there that night. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Okay, so jumping back into France, Europe, King's X, weird. I know my notes are all over the place.
It's all good.
We were in France. We played that one venue, and we saw this guy wearing a T-shirt, and it said, "Metal is never die." And I have this photo of you, like, you know,
greatest shirt ever.
It's the greatest shirt ever, and it had like, you know, I think I posted on Facebook. It said like, France is good at English or something. Oh, dude, metal is never die.
Metal is never die.
I'm gonna put that in here, I think. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about, I'm just kind of jumping all over the place. Sorry, my notes are weird, but let's talk about J-Rab and Big Mike's King's X tattoos. They both have King's X tattoos, and they're pretty awesome. I think Big Mike says "groovin' for the soul," and J-Rab's is just the iconic King's X logo. But what they don't have
is Razor 13 tattoos.
But you and I do.
Yes, we do.
Unless they got some sense. I mean,
I doubt that.
We haven't all hung out, but I mean, I got a Razor 13 tattoo on my left leg. What leg is yours on?
Mine is on my left leg too, and it takes up the whole front of the damn leg.
I know. I was pissed. I remember when you got it, I was like, motherfucker, it's bigger than mine. This is bullshit.
Oh, it's huge. I went to my buddy Matt Morin next to Casino El Camino after we did that first show. I was like, I want this logo. And he goes, how big do you want it? Hold on. I don't even know if I can show this. You
can get half of it in there, maybe.
Can you see that?
I can. Yeah, go down a little bit more. There it is. There's half of it. There's the 3. There's the 1. There it is, dude. It's fucking giant.
Huge. Yeah.
Mine's tiny.
Huge.
If we're showing off tattoos, you can see how little mine is. I guess we're comparing dicks here, but my leg hurts. Yeah, mine's little.
There it is.
There it is.
There it is.
Oh, Razor 13. Oh, Razor 13. All right, let's jump into frying ties.
God.
In Europe.
The first day in England. Yeah, my fucking sleep deprivated ass.
We didn't sleep, guys. By the way, when we traveled to Europe, like, you know, especially Al, it was his first time, it was my second time. I don't sleep on a plane. It's hard to do it. And it's a 10-hour flight, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, and I was sober on that flight too, and I just didn't sleep. And man, fuck, we get to that first venue, and God, where that was in the UK. Damn, and talk about feeling like a fucking ass plugging that fucking pedal in wrong, and it just starts smoldering. It's just like,
oh my gosh.
And then of course he's not happy about it, and me and him and Bobo have to go walk. Me and Bobo went walking down the road. Pretty sure Ty went too. So that was, having to walk into a guitar store. I'm pretty sure those guitar store guys gave us that pedal for free, and then Bobo put them on the list that night. But make sure you plug in your things right, kids, when you're in another foreign country, and get some sleep.
It happened to Danny G too. It wasn't necessarily that. It was some catastrophic failure in LA one night. and the whole show was delayed for like almost an hour. I mean, we couldn't even figure out what was wrong. We'd have to ask Danny about it. Maybe I'll get Danny on this one day and he can explain more of what it was. But it was like, and it happened to me too. My first tour with King's X. It happened to Doug.
Like what? Like the amp wouldn't work?
Yeah, it was that exact. It's not the exact one, but it was the same model, Ampeg, and it blew. I mean, like, like, oh shit, that's not good.
Oh wow.
Doug turns around and looks at me like, fuck. I'm like, I don't know. It's my first time on tour. I don't understand anything. I had to run out to the bus. Thank God he had a second one. Pull that fucker. And you know how Doug's rig, just like Ty's, just like everybody's, just super, or at least back then was super complicated. They've kind of brought things together now, but back then it was super complicated. So I had to pull everything and look at everything before we were pulling it. And then like, okay, that needs to go in here. That needs to go. Okay, this needs to go. It was fucking intense. But yeah, dude, touring is not a joke. Like it is fun, but it is complicated. It's hard. It's amazing.
Work.
It's beautiful. It is work. And you're in your shoes for 18 hours a day. I mean, and then when you get in that little area of the tour bus where all the bunks are and you take your shoes off, everybody fucking hates you. You got to cram 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys in there. There's 12 bunks. But like you shove a bunch of dudes in there after we've all been half of us roadies or techs King's techs don't get to shower, or maybe you have the opportunity to, but that opportunity is happening while you're on stage putting all their crap together.
Right.
And then you've lost it. And then the show started, and then you come back on the bus, and the band's like, dude, you fucking stink. You need to take a shower. I'm like, I've been working for you all day. Give me a joint, or I'm going to.
That's right.
I do miss it. I miss it so much. It's too bad that life happens and you got to move on and do other things. Of course. So I have a bunch of other stuff I wanted to talk about, but we're over an hour. We're going to have to do this again, my friend. Like not like redo this, but I mean, we'll continue the adventure in another episode, I think. So before I wrap everything up, is there anything you want to talk about? Anything you want the people to know about? Anything you feel like putting out into the internet world?
Support live music, God damn it. That's it.
Hell yeah. Al
Go
Shire.
Go out and buy a record of an independent band. Buy some merch. Buy a shirt. Buy a patch. Buy a pin. Support local fucking live music, man. That is it.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. With that, everybody, this is Al Shire. Go check out 180 Seconds with Al Shire. Check out all of his stuff. I will put a link in the description. Also, hang out with Little D. The dude, he's fucking crazy. He likes to party.
He's going to descend.
I love you all. Everybody be great. Stay free. Stay awesome. This is, what did we call it? The 13th
13.
Podcast?
The 13.
The 13 podcast. Have a great day. We'll see y'all on the next one.